Hey, Ricky, thanks for your time, man. Um, I wanted to ask you, you guys didn't have the spring, which, no one had the spring, but for you physically, was that good for you to kind of like not take those hits in the spring and get back healthy? And how are you feeling right now coming into this 2020 season?
Coming to the 2020 season, I feel great. I feel 100%. I mean, I take, the time that we had off as a blessing in disguise just because, everybody needed time off. I mean, everybody know my injuries that I had based off last season. So, I mean, that did pay, take a little advantage. So I took advantage of that. But, I mean, for the most part, yeah.
Are you heavier this year, lighter this year? What are you weighing coming into this year? Do you feel like you're a little bit more durable coming into this junior year?
Yeah, coming into my junior year, I'm still at the same weight. I'm 218 still. I topped off a couple times at 220, but I'm still at my normal weight.
JB Ricks, go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, Ricky? JB Ricks from Spectrum News 1. Thanks for taking out this time. My question for you is, what is this offense going to look like in 2020? There was inconsistency at the quarterback position last year. I know you guys had to deal with a lot of injuries as well. And then obviously the strange offseason that we're all going through. From what you've been able to gather from last year and what you guys have been able to accomplish during the offseason, what is this offense going to look like in 2020?
I mean, everybody been counting us out based off, last year, talking about how we was young and we didn't have any depth and so forth and so forth. But, I mean, for the most part, we got in a great offensive coordinator, Coach Beck. He really knows what he's doing. I mean, he got plays off of plays. I mean, we are ready. We got a lot of depth this year. I mean, everybody's mindset is on the same page. So, I mean, it's just going to be something to see so everybody, can see it.
All right, thank you, bro.
Rob McLam, go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned the depth. On the depth chart, NC State listed 4 guys as potential starters. What is your assessment of the running back group, and can each contribute this season?
Can you repeat that question one more time for me?
Yeah, the depth chart came out, and 4 guys were listed as potential starters. You've mentioned the depth is strong this year. What is your take on the running back group, and can all 4 guys contribute?
Well, of course, all 4 guys can contribute. I mean, we got a lot of great talent inside the running back room. I mean, there's something like we take pride in. We always in the room, on the field, getting that extra work in, whether it's on tape, on the field, anything. So, I mean, yeah, anybody inside our room can be potential starters. I mean, it's just natural. I mean, like, we all work the same. We all, everybody got their own different type of playing style.
Sammy Batton, go ahead.
Yeah, Ricky, I guess Wake Forest has been a team you guys have had trouble with the last couple of years. Does that make this game make you a little more anxious to get out there and see Wake Forest this time around?
Nah, it's just a normal game. To me, I mean, like Coach been saying, it's rivalry week, but I mean, to me, I just feel like if you just prepare, it's just a normal game. It's just a normal game to me. It's like people try to put a label on games and all this and that, but to me, you just go out there and you just play your game.
Todd Gibson, go ahead.
Yeah, Ricky, you came to NC State from just down the road. Highly recruited. You're going to be the guy, and the injuries have kind of set you back. How frustrating has that been for you? How do you handle that, and can this be the season that we see the real Ricky person?
To me, I sat down with Coach Stoner, one of the strength coaches, and Mr. Coach Albert. Yeah, everybody knows I had injuries, and I was going through like a lot of mental stuff at the time. I mean, it was one point I was like, well, is football still for me? But then I took that time where I got closer to God, closer to football, and I just asking myself these questions to myself, and I was like, well, is this for me? And I said, yes. So, I mean, having guys in my corner like Coach Stoner, Coach Albert, even some of the guys in my running back room, like they was with me through every step of the way because it seemed like I just had like the shadow over me. But now this year, it's like, it's something that God has planned for me. So I feel like this year is going to be a breakout year for me.
Were you surprised that you had that feeling? I mean, because you played football since you were a kid, and all of a sudden this comes over you. Was it surprising?
Nah, it's part of the game.
Thanks, Ricky.
Kenton Gibbs, go ahead.
So when we look at, like you said, NC State isn't predicted to finish very high in the ACC, but in conditions where teams quote unquote shock the world, it often happens with the offensive line and the running game leading the way for the most part. And you all are returning Justin Witt on one side and a freshman All-American on the other side. Do you think that these are good conditions for you all to pull it off, even if, you know, the rest of the world has their opinion? But do you think that, you know, you all can make some serious waves this year in the ACC?
Of course. We got a lot of guys, you know, they got a lot of playing experience last year, so they actually helped them out some because we had, you know, young guys that needed to step up and play. So, I mean, by having the veterans, Justin Witt and, you know, Joe Scothorpe and Grant Gibson in the room that could help out those young guys to be able to help those guys this year, I mean, they ain't do nothing but put all their work in during the off season. So, I mean, it's going to be a good sight to see.
And a lot of people said one of the biggest criticisms of NC State's offense last year was that there wasn't necessarily an identity. Has there been, going through camp and going through the condensed camp and going through everything that's been going on with COVID and all that, has there been an established identity of this is who we are, this is what we're going to be, and can you speak to that at all if you all do have it?
I mean, our identity is what, you know, hard, tough together. So, I mean, you can take that how you want to take it, where it's running the ball, passing the ball, anything. I mean, it's just something that we all work on. Like, everybody plays their role and play their part in the field. So, I mean, it's really not an identity. It's just playing well, sound team ball.
And last one, Ricky, for you. Brett Freelander, go ahead.
What's Coach Beck been like, and what are the biggest differences in the offense with him calling the plays?
Say that one more time, please.
Said, what has Coach Beck been like, and what's the biggest difference in the offense with him running it as opposed to the way it was the last couple of years?
Coach Beck is an awesome coach. He knows exactly what he's talking about. I mean, he knows the system very well. I mean, the offense has been, you know, it's nothing. I wouldn't say it's nothing new, but it's like every school you go to, every team has, you know, almost the same offense. So with that being said, I mean, you're gonna put the ball down, you're gonna run, you're gonna throw the ball, but it just, Coach Beck, just his intelligence of the game is just so smart, and what he brings to the table, and he just pours that into us, and it's just us going out there and making the plays. He just calling it. So he's an awesome coach. He knows a lot. He knows a lot about the game.
All right, Ricky. Thank you. Appreciate you coming by.
Appreciate it.
If you guys hold on, Icky was going to call in from